So, I wanted to make a short video about sexuality and 5-MeO-DMT. Made a very long video about it yesterday, but I was doing some breath work right now and I realized that some things could have been said much more simpler, much more directly. So, in my 5-MeO-DMT, there was a breakthrough from holding on, breaking through to complete surrender, to completely dissolving, being at one with beingness. Now, before the 5-MeO-DMT, before having that bodily experience, before being able to have that, I would always, whenever I would engage in sexual acts, it would always be mechanical. It would be me trying to do something, and it would be like a push-up, like doing something very mechanical, and you're just doing the movement. Or like when you try to run, you have to pick yourself up and you go through it, you try to do it. But when you're running and you're in the flow of running, there's this point sometimes that occurs, not always, where something switches inside of you, and it's as if the running becomes its own thing, and you're just in the flow of it. You're observing how your body is in the flow of running, but you're not running actively anymore. You're just observing how you're like carried by this flow of running. It's an act, it's a happening, and you're not doing it. It's that way. It's that way exactly. After having the 5-MeO-DMT, there was a new ability, it was a remembering. I always had the ability to surrender, but I didn't have the memory, the bodily memory of it. And so the 5-MeO-DMT, it gave me that, it broke through to be able to surrender, to embody being, to just be and allow. It's almost like, I can compare it to, when you're going into a pool or into a river and you feel the water streaming, and you could either swim at your own pace and choose your own direction, or you can just lie down, open your arms, and let yourself be carried by the wave. When you let yourself be carried by the wave, you become one with the happening. You become one with the water. Your sense of boundary, of feeling yourself, your sense of this is me, I am this, your sense of physicality almost dissolves. You're just at one with whatever's happening, whatever movement, and there's no bumping, there's no resistance. So there's no duality, or there's no sense of separation. And at being able to just go into the sexual experience and allow myself to just surrender, drop into beingness, and allow myself to be carried by that wave of sexual energy, of love, of connection, of vibrating together, of playing together. There's a profound movement that starts. So once the impulse is there for something to occur, there's a dance or a play that's starting to happen. And in that dance, in that playing, there are like layers of how far can you allow yourself to drop in. Because what I would notice is the farther I would go into the sexual experience, I would start to have these impulses which I wouldn't have before, to try and experiment new things. And so it was all about then releasing the judgment or the idea, I shouldn't want to do this, I shouldn't do this, it shouldn't be like that. And so it's like the body or the mind is in the act of it unfolding. It's projecting what I'm afraid of, or what I don't allow myself to do or to be. And so it's just a chance to release. And once you release, there's a new layer that can be. And the whole experience of sexuality, it's not something that I do or that we come together to do. It's a happening. It's an act. It's so pure and innocent of any context. It has no context at all. It's just yeah, like me trying, I'm trying to put context now, but it has no context. It's just a pure happening of energy, energy playing, energy merging, energy touching, energy vibrating, communicating, like a bounce, like a bounce, like a bounce, and it's like that. It has no meaning in the sense that you can project meaning onto what is happening, but it doesn't make it true because it's experiential. It's not about knowledge. It's about experiencing completely. And I remember it so vividly, like when I noticed this while going through the process of having sexual intercourse. And you know, when there's like cycles, there's like an impulse to do some kind of position, and then there's like a rhythm that's created, and you go into that flow, into that rhythm. So let's say you're in a certain position and you guys are like just like, yeah, going at it or enjoying it, surrendering to it. And what I noticed was, because there was this complete relaxation, complete relaxation of just being aware of that, there was this, it was like all of a sudden, this movement, this movement that was there was a lightness in it. And that lightness allowed the movement to be perceived more subtle. And in that subtlety, stillness was there. And there was subtle layers of different emotions and different possibilities. So you could go deeper, softer. And so the wave, the initial wave of just doing something, it transformed because it became organic and alive. It's an organic, alive process. So sometimes when you have like this cycle when you're just really like intensely together, and it's fast paced, because it would be in such surrender, in such complete relaxation, there would be this point where it's happening, and because of the lightness, the movement would reach its peak. The momentum would reach it's like, how could I say, it's crescendo. And then when it reached that, there would be a natural evolving, a natural movement into a quietness or a new movement. It was like a dance. And it's like when this comes and it ends, there's like a new wave that follows, because it's continuous. So it's not like we're starting this, we're doing this, and then we're stopping that, and we're doing something else. No, it's like you're going and you're carried by it the whole way through, and you're just streaming through it. And it's a continuous process of being. Yeah, I just wanted to add that because I didn't mention that yesterday. So yeah, I'm really grateful for that experience, because having that experience, like having bufo, it 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 taught me how to give myself. But the thing is, it didn't mean that it would just happen like, oh, I'm just gonna give myself to everything. No, because there was still conditioning, there was still fear, there was still holding back, there was still all kinds of judgments and blocks, or all kinds of self-imposed limitations. So I would do it like in very specific settings. So I'm going to class, I'm gonna give myself. I'm going to have intercourse with this person, I'm gonna give myself. I'm going to do this, I'm gonna give myself. So, and the more that I go through this, and that I see how it is to give myself and how it is to not give myself, there's a desire, a longing in me to just to be transparent, to be in the flow of giving myself, of being myself, of open and gentleness in all of it, with everybody, with every person, with every situation, with everything. because I notice when I don't give myself, it's just there's a contraction, there's a closing off, and I'm just closing myself off to life. So yeah, I just wanted to share that. Thank you so much.